was just doing my own experiment on my digestive system. But we can get started. My name is Brooke Thompson, and I'm obviously here to talk to you guys about the digestive system. And my goal today is to help you guys understand how important it is to our survival. Okay, so the first system that we're going to talk about today is the monogastric system, and this is the system that we as humans have, and dogs, hogs, and cats also have this system. This has one simple stomach, which I hope that most of you know by now. And our stomach gives off a lot of acids to help break down the food that we eat. And it causes a very low pH in our stomach. And that helps fight off bacteria. These types of animals can eat a lot of concentrates, which is like corn, wheat, oats, because they are very low in fiber and they are high in energy. So with these animals, the digestive tract goes, of course, into the mouth and through the esophagus into the stomach, where most of the food is broken down. And then it goes into the small intestine for all of these animals. And a few of them have a few other organs, like the liver and the pancreas. But basically it goes through the small intestine into the large intestine and obviously out through the rectum. So the next system we're going to be talking about is the avian system. And this is found in all poultry. And something that I found very interesting about this was that they don't have teeth like we do, and so they have to poke their food with their beak. And I mean, obviously as they get older, their beaks are going to wear down, so it won't be as effective as they get older. And they also scratch it with their feet, which I found really gross. But they actually have rather large esophaguses for such small animals. But I just found it really interesting that they got their food to go down like that. And obviously it makes it harder for food to be broken down in the stomach because it was never physically broken down in the mouth. So their digestive tract is a little bit different than ours. It starts off the same, as in going into the mouth and through the esophagus, but then it hits an organ called the crop, which we obviously do not have. Their food is stored and soaked in the crop. And then it is eventually moved on to the proventriculus, which is a part of their stomach. And they're kind of like in our stomach, the acid attacks the food and the enzymes, and it is broken down there. Well, it also moves on to the gizzard, which is kind of like teeth for us. Their food is broken down even more in the gizzard. And then it moves on to the small intestine, and then on to the large intestine, kind of like us. And then it is secreted, or the non-digestible food moves on to the cloaca. Okay, so the next part that we're going to talk about is the ruminant system. This is what we find in cattle, sheep, deer, and goats. They are very different from us, the monogastric system, because they have such a large stomach that it is actually divided into 4 different parts. The 4 different parts are the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. This is because they eat foods that aren't very easy to digest, like hay and grass. They're called roughages, and they're very high in fiber and low in energy, which is the opposite of what we eat which is concentrates. They swallow all of their food in very large quantities, and they don't chew it very well. So this way of eating results in them having to regurgitate their food and chew it back up and eat it again. And this happens to these animals about 6 to 8 times a day because their food just doesn't get broken down properly. So next we're going to talk about the stomachs. And the first one is the rumen, and this is the largest portion. This is where the food is partially broken down, but obviously not all the way. The next is the reticulum, and this part kind of amazed me that a stomach could do this, but it removes wires and nails and all kinds of foreign objects from their food, and obviously because they aren't chewing very well, a lot of these things end up in their stomach. And so that helps remove that. And next is the omasum. The omasum is kind of like the gizzard in the poultry. It grinds the food so it can remove the water from it and things like that. It kind of acts as another chewing mechanism. And so the next stomach is the abomasum. The abomasum is what they call the true stomach. And this stomach is a lot like ours in the monogastric system. Okay, so the very last system that we're going to talk about today is the pseudo-ruminant system. And it is a lot like the ruminant system, but the stomach isn't near as large, and it is not divided up into portions like the ruminant system is. It is a large stomach, but it's not divided like that one is. They do, however, have a cecum, which works like the reticulum in the ruminant system. It separates the foreign objects, which is great. And some of the other animals that we see have this type of system is, besides the horse, is rabbits, guinea pigs, and hamsters. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.